So I'm going to date myself a little bit here, and I see at least one college student back, but a couple. You have no idea what I'm about to say. This will be like Latin or Greek to you. There is a show that I used to watch as a kid called Happy Days. How many of you know that? Yeah? All right. All right, you're my people. All right. So do you remember there was this redhead called Richie Cunningham? Now, Richie Cunningham was perfect. He was always the good kid, always just right on. In fact, there was an episode where Chachi sells his soul to the devil, and it was when the Happy Days was kind of going downhill, I think, at that point. But it jumped the shark, right? But as he was doing that, as Chachi was doing that, an angel was there to help out. And we tried to find the clip, but it's not really out there anymore, or you had to pay too much for it, so we said no. And the angel was talking, and Richie said, "Oh, will I get wings someday?" He looked at Richie and said, "Dude, the day you're born, there are wings already waiting for you. You're that good, right?" So he was always this perfect person. Well, goody two-shoes. Well, people of God, I am no Richie Cunningham. And you probably aren't either. Well, maybe Sue Elsie is, but the rest of us, probably not. So there's an old joke about a preacher, a song leader, and a church janitor. They all died and went to heaven. So let's just go through that a little bit. Let's make this more real to us. So a preacher went to heaven, we'll call him Lino. A song leader went, we'll call her Heather. And a church janitor, and we'll just call him Chuck. Just random word names I came up with. Those of you who are new to us, that's Lino, that's Heather, and Chuck is our building manager. So just so you know the joke there. Don't want to keep you out. But the preacher beamed with confidence when he went before Peter, St. Peter up in heaven, and St. Peter came out with a magnifying glass and looked him over and he said, bit of a pride issue there with you. And then the song leader stepped up next, and Peter frowned and said, "Well, you were great, except the times when the congregation didn't clap on beat and your mind went to places it shouldn't have." And finally, the business manager walked up. Peter inspected his halo and then shrugged. "Well, it's a little cracked, but you cleaned up many messes, including multiple times at the parsonage on Furlong Drive, flooded. And so we'll let you in." All of us are broken. All of us have broken halos. We like to imagine ourselves as good and faithful and strong, and for the most part, probably we are. But maybe we're even a little saintly. But the reality is our halos get broken. Our halos get bent. We fail. We fall short. We struggle with pride, anxiety, and doubt. The Apostle Paul understood this better than most. He had the boldness to step out upon the water and the doubt that made him sink. He tried to protect Jesus by cutting off an ear of a soldier out there to arrest him, only to be scolded by Jesus, saying, "That is not my way." He declared he would never leave Jesus, and you remember what he did? He denied him 3 times before the rooster crowed. But by God's grace, Peter was restored and called to strengthen others. That's exactly what he does in 1 Peter 5, 1-11, encouraging leaders to overcome, humbling the proud, and reminding all of us that God is in the business of mending our broken halos. Peter writes, "God opposes the proud, but gives the grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that they may lift you up in due time." See, the good news is that God's grace isn't for the perfect. It's for the humble, those who admit their weakness and lean on his strength. Our broken halos don't disqualify us. They remind us how much we need the one who mends. It helps to move us away from self-reliance that is not perfect to reliance on God's grace. Alone we are weak. In God we are strong. I remember my humility was in check one Sunday. I preached a heck of a sermon. Man, I worked hard at it. I was proud of it. I got down and went, bam, nailed it, right? Feeling pretty good. But then as I was finishing it up, I noticed a woman right about there who had nodded off and was snoring. And she came through the line afterwards and said, "Oh, Pastor, that was a great sermon." I said, "How would you know?" I didn't say that. I thought it. But I was humbled that my sermon wasn't this great, awesome thing that would change the world. It put somebody to sleep. Next, Peter tells us, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. There's nothing about brokenness that makes us more anxious. We want to fix things, our mistakes, our failures, our weaknesses, but Peter tells us to let go of them, to give it up. Let somebody else who's got bigger shoulders than you handle it. Imagine trying to glue your own halo back together. You'd probably be a mess of it, right? If you ever try to fix something with super glue, how many times do your fingers get stuck? On Wednesday nights, which I don't know those of you who've been attending, but Wednesday nights for me have been just a blessing of some deep Lenten experience. And we've been doing some really great stuff on Wednesday nights for those who come. And I made everybody a little cairn, little cairns that got rocks from up when I was up north, and I bought some to go, and then in each one was the black rock, those of you here Ash Wednesday, that represent our sin. And so I made about 60 of them. And I was doing it the night before because the idea came to me late during the day. And so I was up just putting these things together, trying to whip them through and holding them, and my hands were getting sticky. And then the black rocks, for some reason, the blackness came off into my hands, and the glue went over them, so they didn't go away, the color, and I couldn't rub them off in my hands, and I was a mess. I was a mess. But that's how it is when we try to fix our own problems. Sometimes we just make it more of a mess instead of giving them up to God. Now, I'm not saying God's going to magically come in and fix them, but when we don't release the fact that we aren't perfect, that we can't do it on our own, and have God come alongside us to strengthen us, guide us, teach us, give us blessing, then we're going to be like that sticky mess. Peter tells us to cast our anxieties on God. The word cast is the same one used when disciples throw their net into the sea. It means they throw something completely away from ourselves and not just set it down. We throw it out, and we throw it on God, and we leave it there and hope that it comes back full and abundant. When something's you're holding on to today, what is it? What is this thing that you're still holding on to? What's that one thing that's keeping your hands sticky in a mess because you won't let go? What is it, a past failure? Is it a worry about the future? Is it a worry about your children? Is it a heavy burden? Is it something you said to somebody or somebody said to you? Let it go. Because God actually cares. Sometimes we don't think that. Sometimes we don't believe that God actually cares. In fact, when you talk to people who don't go to church, they think, well, if there is a God, God doesn't really care for me because look at my mess. That's one of the biggest reasons people say they don't attend church, if they believe in a higher being. So, I would like you to repeat that loud and proud for me. I'm going to say, God actually cares. You're going to throw it back at me. God actually cares. When you hit that time and you need just something to say, just say to yourself, God actually cares. Watch how your mind changes where it is. God actually cares. So then Peter continues and he warns us, be alert though and sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around you like a roaring lion looking to someone to devour. Have you ever, heard that? The lions often will just roar in order to scare their potential victims, right? They're meant to be big and ferocious. Even though the male lions are the most lazy, they just lay down and sleep while the female lions go out and hunt and take care of the babies. And I don't know if you ever watched a documentary. Boy, male lions are pretty lazy. But they're loud and they're scary. So be alert. Don't let the devil take over. Now, Satan loves broken halos. Now, I don't want to get into a discussion about whether Satan's a figure, a person, a thing, and a being, or if it's something completely different. That's not the point. The point is there's something that whispers into our ears and they whisper the doubts, no matter if it comes from our own mind, our friends and family, society, or some other outside force. Something whispers, you're not good enough. Something whispers, you're weak. Something whispers, you'll never change. Something whispers, you've messed up too much. But Peter reminds us to resist, standing firm in the faith. You're not alone in your struggle. Look around. Look around in this room. Find someone that you normally don't talk to. Just don't stare at them. That'd be weird. But just look at somebody else for just a second. They are broken too. And they're looking at you, finding comfort because they know you're broken too. We're in this together. We're both in this life boat of faith. You know, a lot of churches are made so that the ceiling looks like the bottom of a boat. Architects were very smart because oftentimes they're made out of a boat. If you go to Batavia, there's this very much like that. It's to make it look like the ark. So when you look up at the ceiling, you are reminded you're in a lifeboat from the world. So we're not alone. We are all broken. Broken halos aren't the end of the story, though. God doesn't just leave us in our struggles. God restores us, takes our failures and turns them into testimonies. God lifts up the humble, strengthens the weak, and uses even the most broken people for God's glory. Just look at Peter. He went from denial to bold proclamation, from failure to faithfulness, from a broken halo to a powerful testimony of grace. Hear that again. Peter went from denial to proclamation, failure to faithfulness, from a broken halo to a powerful testimony of grace. So bring your brokenness to God. If you feel like your halo is cracked today, you're in good company. But the good news is we serve a God who cares. Humble yourself and trust in God. Cast your anxieties upon our Creator, knowing we are loved. Stand firm against forces that seek to knock us down, humiliate, or even destroy us. Trust that God will restore us to perfect grace. And at the end of the day, if we are cracked, if we do have cracks in us, the restoration of God makes us even more valuable. Because now we have a way to help others. God isn't looking for perfect halos. God's looking for a contrite and surrendered heart. And when we give away our brokenness, God turns it into something beautiful. Your past failure doesn't define you. Your struggle doesn't disqualify you. Your broken halo isn't the end of your story. God is still writing it with you. And that's good news for us during Lent. Amen.